So you want to win more games of Warzone. Now people will tell you that it's always down to luck or something else, but ultimately Warzone is a very difficult game, both in terms of positioning and just how you handle situations. Minimal decisions in the game can determine whether or not you get a win, and with 150 people in any given server, the odds aren't ever really particularly in your favor. Today in this video, I'm going to give you guys a comprehensive breakdown of advanced strategies and things that are really important in Warzone that will make you get more wins. You know, I'm not talking basic stuff here. I'm not going to be telling you what weapons you should be using. I'm not going to tell you, really basic fundamentals of a battle royale. We're going to be talking about the stuff that you need to do collectively with your teammates in order to achieve a big win. And to make matters even more useful, I'm also going to include some wonderful gameplay clips that actually showcase exactly what I'm talking about as I talk through it, so you guys can have a visual reference of what it is that I'm trying to get across to you and see it in action with a good group of players. In this video today is myself. I have over 100 wins in Warzone, Broken Machine, who has over 260, and Westy, I'm pretty sure is close to 200 at this point. But it's not really the win count that matters. It's not because we're playing with like pro players or anything. It's just how we play together, and it's just how people at a certain level on these streams and on YouTube and stuff play that determines why they get so many wins. And it's not some secret sauce. It's not playing for thousands and thousands of hours. It's just about simple but effective strategies. I have 6 major points to get through, so let's dive on in. My first point is something called stacking. Now you guys know that sticking together is the most critical point of Warzone. I would say at any given point, the furthest away your teammate should be from you is about 50 meters, if that. There are some rare occasions where someone will have to get a loadout drop, or perhaps revive a player, or pick up a contract, but ultimately 50 meters is the maximum distance I would say you should be between your squad. Anything further than that and you're kind of dividing and conquering really. You're letting yourselves get set up by other squads and picked up quite easily with no easy response. And stacking links directly to that. Now what do I mean by stacking? Well, stacking is the ability to cover each other in tricky situations, especially when somebody engages a firefight towards you that you weren't really expecting, not one that you've engaged yourself. And the reason stacking is effective is because you have to think about your teammates' health and armor collectively and call out for help when you need it. In these games with Westy and Broken Machine, you'll find that whenever one of us is hit with an engagement, if one of us lose our armor plates, the other two immediately swoop in to cover the difference. And the reason for that is because once somebody loses their armor, they are vulnerable, easily able to be downed and taken out of the game, which means a 3v3 becomes a 2v3, and it's exceedingly likely that fire superiority from 3 people is going to wipe your team out of the game. And fire superiority is an incredibly important part of this game. So fundamentally here, when one of your teammates within that 50-meter radius that you're all sticking within is hit up really badly, you guys go and cover him, whatever the expense, because allowing them the time to get 3 more shields back on and possibly a bit more cover or perhaps a flanking position is absolutely crucial to winning gunfight engagements. It isn't about the number of bullets you have, the weapons you have, or how you do it. Fundamentally, it's about making sure that all of your teammates have the sufficient ability to enter an engagement with as much armor as humanly possible. This is a damage statistical based game. The person who does the most damage wins, and the person who receives the most damage loses. But if you can keep covering each other to the point where the damage they're throwing out is just constantly replaced with new armor plates, then they're going to struggle to take out your squad. There's lots of great examples you're seeing in the background here, times where I got lit up on rocks and my teammates quickly swoop in. They either down somebody or they just fire for effect. They do enough to hit them, enough that they get panicked or scared or don't want to peek again to try and thirst me or finish me off. And fundamentally, that's what keeps you in the game and gives you higher odds of winning in any given game situation. Next up, let's talk positioning, because there's lots of people who say various different things about how you should play the zone in Warzone and what you should be aiming to do. And in my mind, there are 2 mantras of thought here, and both of them come with ups and downs. The first one is skirting the edge, and the second one is power positions. Now, skirting the edge entails what it entails. You toe the line of the edge of the zone so that you're no longer in the middle of the zone. When you're in the middle of the zone, and if you're in the middle of the circle, especially towards the final zones, you tend to find that as all the squads collapse inward, they're looking towards the center for someone to fight. And somebody who's in a power position like a really big building, or a height advantage, or something of that variety that gives them that extra edge, is where everybody is looking towards, because they know that that's their primary threat and the most likely thing to take them out. Alternatively, there are power positions, where if you get into a good building or a good vantage point, then you have the superior position, better cover, possibly better visuals as well, and you're less likely to be taken out of the game. Of course, the trade-off in this scenario being that everybody's going to be looking at you. The best way to play Warzone in this scenario is always to skirt the edge, unless there is a clear and obvious vantage point that is going to be the most superior in the location. Such as, for example, whole empty vast fields of ground and just one building in the middle, or one that's really high up like a skyscraper, or something along the lines of the edge of the map where you start getting into mountainous terrain where the people who are on top of the mountain are more likely to win. Those are the only examples where being in a power position is more beneficial, and even then I'd say wait till later in the game, like the final 2 or 3 zones, to make the move into that power position. Before then, you're asking for just lots of trouble and lots of harassment early on that you don't necessarily need to get involved in. Skirting the edge of the zone allows you to control the zone in your favor, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But first and foremost, let's talk about power positions. And in this video, I have 2 really great examples of one where we played it fantastically and another one where we played it absolutely awfully. The first one was the stadium power position. We were at the top of stadium, the final zone was in stadium, everything was looking like sunny, roses, grassy fields, and an easy win for us to take the game. But fundamentally, power positions expire in this game. There will become a point where your position is so obvious or your vantage point is so clear that every remaining squad is looking in that direction, and the advantage that you would have gained from being in that position is nullified by the amount of fire and suppression that you're taking. If every time you're peeking at the top of stadium you're getting clapped by a sniper, then really being at the top of stadium isn't really worth it. And that's what we found in this zone here, where we kind of knew that we were just getting absolutely rinsed, so we decided to jump early. We jumped whilst other squads were fighting each other and we could hear the gunfire going off, and it gave us a window of opportunity to get down into the mix of gameplay without allowing the power position to work against us. Now, in contrast, there was a moment during a train station round where being on top of the power position, we stayed there for too long, we didn't jump off early enough, and because of that, when we finally did, we did get punished for it and immediately eliminated within the final zones. Winch!
Oh, no noise? What?
I just heard it last second.
Healing.
Go for it, I'll cover winch.
They're running around below you.
Do you need armor?
I'm good. I've got an armor box here. We can do that. I'm gonna have a peek over here. You watch that side.
Fucking winch.
Please tell me the circle's not gonna go their way.
2v1v1.
I'm dropping down.
2v2v1.
Oh, are you serious? Ah, damn it, man. I couldn't
Just
get off
hold
the
there,
parachute.
Hold there. They're in the woods. You got a gas mask, you're all good.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
And bearing in mind the final zone moves now, so unless it bounces towards you favorably, there's a good chance that the power position is going to expire in terms of duration, and you will have to start being mobile again. Now, when I'm talking about skirting the edge in zone control, what do I mean by that? Well, let me link you back to my previous example, talking about where we played the stadium really well, and we dived on into the pitch and got into the mix of things. This is what I mean by zone control and skirting the edge. Me and Broken Machine decided that we should take one corner of the circle, and by corner I know it's a round object, doesn't have corners, but you get what I'm talking about. You take one side of the zone and you control it for as long as humanly possible. And that's exactly what we did in this example. We went for the white tent because we identified that that had the tip of the zone in its favor, and that we could control that situation with just the 2 of us, even though we were a man down. And we played it absolutely perfectly. He covered one side, I covered the other, and we weren't pushed at all. And when we were able to counter it. And again, using the stacking example, when I lost all of my shields, Broken covered me, and when he lost his shields, I covered him. We treated our health as a collective element, we treated our armor as a collective element, and ultimately at the end of the game, we just absolutely won and rinsed everybody because we controlled the zone and we skirted the edge as best as humanly possible.
Why don't we take the position that they were in over that side? That we know they were the only team over there.
Let's...
Oh no, no,
I got you, I
no,
got you, I
no,
got you, I
no,
got
no,
you.
no, 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 no.
I'm going straight for white tent.
Yep, I'm with you.
I'd have looked half a second earlier.
Okay, that's a beam.
Yeah, they're both in that little bit, like in the gap of the stadium now. They're in the gap of that where the stairs are. Yeah. From behind you guys, from behind you.
Yep.
They're being shot by someone else. Yeah.
I got my side. I got my side.
Oh.
Coughing.
Coughing up there. Might be coming through here.
Over on this side of the tent.
Two of them coming that way, I think, Broken. You've got a stun if you wanted to hit them with it.
Guys here.
Oh,
kind of over here.
Yep.
Healing, healing.
Over in.
you can't get through that gap.
You ready to move? There's guys on green. Oh, what?
Yeah,
I'm good. I'll self rest.
Just to distract a little
Keep
bit.
shooting, keep shooting. One behind us, one behind us.
One on the pitch. Oh.
I got self-rest, I got self-rest.
Yes!
Oh, you won it.
Let's go.
You won it. Boys. Well played. Well played.
And that's the advantage that skirting the edge gives you over a power position. When the zone moves, or if the zone is in a very tricky position, it means that you know nobody's going to flank you from a certain location. You don't have to watch your six because it's the gas, and after a certain time period, you know nobody can come from there. So you only really have to look within a sort of 180-degree field of vision in front of you. And at that point, it's just about controlling that cone of vision and identifying threats and taking care of them, but not necessarily pushing them, just controlling the sector you're in and counteracting pushes and picking off people who then themselves have to move. And in this example, when the zone finally moved, we took our time, we waited for a little bit, and we moved with the skirt of the zone. We kept moving, let people get caught in the gas, and just finished them off as need be. Now, my final piece of advice for anybody who's looking to play Warzone with their friends, you're going to get lots of people telling you what gun to use, which gun's meta, which gun's this, that, and the other. Now yes, fundamentally in Warzone at the moment, there are some guns that are just flat out better than others. The M4A1, the Grau 5.56, and the Ram 7 are good examples of assault rifles that will serve you better than most other weapons in the game. And there are sniper rifles as well that will do the same, as well as the MP5, which has always been relatively god tier. But don't choose a weapon because you want that weapon because it's a certain specific stat. Choose the weapon because it's the weapon you're comfortable with. I see some people where they have like one guy who's a sniper, one guy with a riot shield, and one guy with an MP5. And fundamentally that just means you've got 3 people who have limited gameplay and have limited what they are comfortable with within a game. When I play with my friends, what we do is we all go with a loadout that we want to play with. We go with a loadout that we know we can get kills with, and we go with what we're comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, it's a bit like FIFA. If you've ever played FIFA or Madden or NHL or whatever sports game it happens to be, sure, some teams have the highest stats and are better, but the team that you know and the team that you're good with is the team that you're good with, and fundamentally the same applies here. I'm alright with an M4A1, but I know I love the Grau 5.56 more, and I know it favors me more. So I tend to play with a Grau 5.56 a little bit more. So don't force yourself into uncomfortable positions because some YouTubers made a video saying that this gun is the best. Force yourself to play with a loadout that you are comfortable with, and comfortable with accuracy kills and being lethal on the field with, and that's how you as a team collectively will win. So folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video today with me, TheTacticalBrit. If it was helpful, leave a like, and as always, leave a sub as well, and I'll catch you in the next video.